Yeah, when I messaged you, you gave me that spiel too. To me, it wasn't necessarily about beating him at the ballot box. I think that is a separate mission to me. I don't think that we campaigned solely on the fact that Donald Trump needs to be held accountable. I don't think that's a winning strategy completely. If that's your only strategy, my whole kind of pessimism came from the fact of just holding him accountable. Like, at what point do the rules matter? At what point do, as a country, does law and or does just the law, the Constitution matter? And in this case, he's not even that smart, right? He openly campaigned to overthrow the government. He stole documents. We know that for a fact now. Um, he tried to get people to commit election fraud and taint the election. Those are the big three cases, right? And for him to not have to face consequences, that would be devastating, I think, for me and the country. The reason I say that is because then what stops the next guy from doing worse? What stops the next guy from just shooting people, or just jailing reporters, or putting people who dissidents in jail like other countries, third world countries do, right? So what, as a country, do we stand for if we cannot punish people who commit crimes? The reason I was so pessimistic, John, is, and I'm going to be pessimistic, they are going to say he's immune, I think they've already showed their hand. And the reason I think they say that is, in their their write up, it wasn't like they just made a press release. In their write up, they said the question that we must answer is, can he be immune from official acts? So this isn't about whether he committed a crime or not anymore. It becomes, is the crimes that he committed technically an official act because he's the president? It's the idea of, is pious because God loves pious, right? It's this idea of, what is a square a rectangle, or a rectangle a square. Like, you're gonna define, as long as you're the president, anything you do is technically an official act. And I think they're gonna make him immune from doing that. Now, I don't know if some of the document stuff is considered after that, right? Can Jack Smith make the claim that he took the files on January 20th, he was no longer president, and as soon as we asked for them back, he's no longer the president? I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's a loophole that Jack Smith is considering. But the January 3rd phone call to Georgia was as a president, and a lot of the stuff he's done was as president. The Stormy Daniels stuff, I think, was pre-president, but again, I don't think he's going to go to jail for that. So my worry becomes, they're not going to say that he did anything wrong. What they're going to say is that he might have messed up, but became as an official act. And I think they're going to draw the line there, and that's why I'm a little bit pessimistic.
Yeah, but here are a few things to consider. It's one thing to go ahead and have to stay in. Some of the political, not political, some of the legal analysts had been talking about, prior to the decision, had been talking about how the Supreme Court, Katie Fang, who has been very good throughout, Katie Fang had said that because it's such a big question that it's painful and it sucks, but it might be better in the long run if it goes to the Supreme Court now, and for a lot of reasons, because it's going to be a lot harder for the Supreme Court to bless this. I mean, for them to bless this, have Trump convicted, and then to overturn it because they pre-blessed it. This is a situation where, had they not necessarily jumped in, they might have gone ahead. Trump got convicted, then they could overturn it. So that's the first thing to consider. Secondly, don't forget, we got to work our ass off for Biden, get Biden elected. The prosecutions will continue. I'm sure Jack Smith, I'm sure Trump has committed a whole lot of crimes post presidency. And I'm sure Jack Smith was like, look, here's the beautiful thing. If the worst thing to happen to Trump is not only that Biden wins, but then guess what? If Biden wins, what's the pressure to convict him? It's still there, but they can take their sweet ass time. And they can take their sweet ass time. Because don't forget, a lot of this was rushing in to get in. I wouldn't be surprised to see more charges coming. But secondly, and this is where I'm going to turn into militant angry black man. This is where a lot of other things are about to go down. But one of my biggest beefs, one of my biggest gripes is the fact that Donald Trump has 4 felony indictments. He owes well over $500 million to various entities. Um, he has been adjudicated uh, a sexual predator. He sexually assaulted someone, right? That's a judge has said that. His businesses are fraudulent. Do you realize that if he were to go down to your local McDonald's, he couldn't get a job? He could not get a job with a record like that? He would not pass a simple background check to work at a freaking bank. He could not. He would not be. No one would ever trust him to handle any money with his $500 million in debt and all of those charges, right? And yet, people actually need to see him convicted to say, I'm not voting for the guy. Man, we got some problems in this country. But secondly, I also think here's the problem, and I understood what you said about, yeah, he probably won't go to jail for Alvin Bragg. But this means that by Memorial Day, there's a better than 50% chance that Donald Trump will be a convicted felon. It's not a federal crime, but don't forget, if it's New York, that sticks, because ain't nobody in New York is ever going to go ahead and pardon him. That's for life, right? And you mean to tell me that America is going to go ahead and elect a convicted felon? First and foremost, I understand that that's a real possibility, but bruh, if you and I live in a country that will elect a convicted felon, I'm already concerned about a country that would elect a guy that's going into the election with 4 felony indictments, even if there's no adjudication. We've got some big problems, right? We have some big, very serious problems, and so I'm hoping people will wake up. But yeah, the chance is by Memorial Day, Donald Trump will be a convicted felon. And put it this way: has could Barack Obama have run for president even if he was already president? Could he run for reelection with a felony on his with a felony indictment, let alone a felony conviction? Right? So something is wrong in this country. He could Barack Obama's pastor, not even Barack Obama's pastor said something that many people took offense to, and to the people on the right, to many of the people who are writing hard for Donald Trump, that was a non-starter. Yet they're now going to go ahead and elect a guy with 4 felony indictments who could very well be a convicted felon by Memorial Day.